Hello and welcome to the first installment of How to Use GURU2. My name is Trevor White. I'm the developer and creator of Guru. Before I get started, I just want to wish those observing a safe, happy, and productive PERiLS 2023. Just as a bit of background, Guru stands for Geographical Unified Radar Utility, meaning it's a map and it's meant to be used at every phase of the radar research enterprise. From ingesting live data in real time for situational awareness to keep teams safe, to post-analysis and perusal. It's based in the Windows Presentation Foundation and uses Direct3D11 as the graphics. So it generally scales well with hardware. It's running a pretty high frame rate here on my laptop right now, and runs even better on my desktop at home. When you first open the software, you'll be greeted with a configuration of data frames, which is either the default or what was saved when the software was last closed. That can be changed up here through one of the sort of baked-in options, or by defining a number of rows and columns, or by defining a completely custom layout, which I'll go over in a later video. Your data frames are where you'll be living most of the time in Guru. And they need two things to function. Number one, a viewport, which tells the data frame pretty much where to be and how tightly to zoom in. And the data frames can be decoupled from one another spatially by cloning the selected data frame, or cloning the selected viewport, excuse me. And then at that point, you'll have a single panel operating out of lockstep with the others. While these are still synchronized, this guy is not. When you need it, nothing else will do, but that's not a feature I use particularly frequently. The next thing a data frame needs to show you data is a data binding. What that is in effect a cursor to a bucket of data that I know is a data series. I'll go ahead and create a live data series here. A live data series being a type of data series where new data is automatically downloaded and old data is automatically dropped from the beginning. It's, in effect, an analysis data series with those two features added. An analysis data series being a data series that holds all data sets and all products of them in memory for usage in some kind of analysis. I'm going to go ahead and start polling GOES 16, I guess, mesoscale 1 and mesoscale 2. Just to have some example data here. As soon as I did that, one of those data bindings was automatically selected, I guess meso 1. And as soon as a data set was first downloaded, I got this set product indicator. That just tells you the currently configured string that is the product definition internal to the viewport, or to the data frame rather, just isn't in the data set. So we just need to go in and set something that is. So now we see our nice view of the southeast from our fancy space camera. To change data sets, first off, you want to make sure your intended binding is the one that's selected. So if you're viewing more than one sensor, you'll have more than one binding. Sometimes you'll have more than one binding per sensor if you want to be viewing multiple times from that sensor. So just make sure it's your selected one. You can either check that under the, binding options menu here, so I can see this frame's data binding is the one that's selected. Or you can go up here to the data menu and go to select data binding, and you can see my meso 1 and meso 2 bindings. But so left and right arrows, those inputs will be sent to the selected data frame, and will change your data set. If you're looking at radar volumes, the up and down arrows will move up and down in elevation angle. And with gridded data, it'll move up and down in level. For the purposes of viewing multiple sensors at once, I'll go to 2 panels here, and we'll put, what is in here? This is meso 1? Yes, meso 1. Okay, so I'm going to put meso 2 in here, and we're going to just select RGB as well. I've sort of got them in the wrong orientation here, but as you can see, when I'm moving the left data set. The right one is not moving. But those two data bindings can be synchronized by going to the synchronization menu. You just click the other binding you want to synchronize with, and then the best possible data set will be selected. Right now I've got a lot less mesoscale 2 data loaded than mesoscale 1. It definitely is showing in the synchronization. Let's see, I'll go back to one panel and go over alpacas really briefly. Alpaca stands for Adaptable Lightweight PHP API for Coordinated Atmospheric Studies. That is our basically like logistics and situational awareness system. You can find that under the operations menu. The main thing you'll be using is the asset tracking feature. So I'm just going to turn everything on I can. I guess I'll do that as well. Okay, so I've got these little blinking assets here now, which I've configured to be blinking by clicking the blink tracking assets option. We can see Dow 6 is south of Little Rock on the way down here. I'm here at the hotel in McGee, and somebody's out at our out at the UI profiler launching soundings. These positions, let's see, I want to make sure I don't have that selected. These positions will actually loop with the data. So if people are on the move, you'll actually see their dots creeping along. Let's see if I'm not sure if anybody's moving right now. Well, you can see the sounding team 5 in reach has come up in the recent time. Okay, let's see. Alpacas. For Mesonet teams specifically who are doing pod deployments, this show track breadcrumbs setting is very nice. Primarily because it will always show you your current position. Whatever your last received position is, that'll be what's displayed. Then it'll show breadcrumbs leading back to the time of the data set. So if you have a team in the field that's trying to outrun a particular storm feature, you can tell how much progress they've made since the selected data set. Let's see, what else is important here? To show or hide these overlays, which I know people will probably want to not show these dual Doppler lobes. That's, again, under the operations menu and the deployment overlays. They can all be selectively turned on and off. For most purposes, you'll want to use short names. That just keeps your screen much less cluttered. Pretty much everybody but me should always be downloading deployments. If we look here in the chat window, we can see that I sent this fleet deployment layer earlier this morning. That 209. I sent it sometime. That was downloaded, but wasn't necessarily automatically used. In general, you want your fleet deployments that are downloaded from alpacas to automatically be replaced. So I recommend this download deployment setting remains checked. Also the download annotations setting. Let's see. I'll cover that in a later video. But yeah, I guess the last thing I really want to go over is the console. This is very useful if you think Guru is locked up, maybe nothing's happening. It's generally good to just check on the console, see what's going on. Sometimes you'll have data sets that are taking a while to load, in which case you'll see these indicators down here doing stuff with your decompression queue and data file loading and layers in flight. But then I guess the last critical thing that I would ask of everybody, I'm just going to crash Guru by using my crash command, is reporting crash reports. This is this is obviously like I caused it. But when you see this window, if you're willing and able to kind of describe what you were doing and type it in here, I do actually see all of these. I have a database table with all these. I'm in the process of building some reporting tools to help me aggregate these and try to understand what issues exist and in what context people are running into them. So even if you don't fill in anything, just sending that crash report is immensely helpful. But I guess contact me with any questions, and happy hunting.